so bad at Alfie.
So that's a song.
Is
I know
it?
what's
Is
it all
it?
about, Alfie. Sorry. Yeah, what's it all about,
Did you make it up next?
I do. Okay, so I was 11, as I said before, and then I came out when I was 24. To you, this one. Well, first to a psychologist.
No, first to Sally.
First to my dog, Sally. She took it really well. Then we brought in Napoleon, her husband, the Labrador. He also took it well, and he was like, just go to a psychologist. Right, so then I told Tracy, the psychologist, and then anyway, it's a long in between. When I realised when I was 11, I just thought my world was, everything was over. I was like, oh my God, this is a disaster. But like I knew it was something I had to fix, so it's in my blood to fix things, because it's what my family does, you know. And I don't know, I just remember from then on, when I was 11, I was at the beach. My family has this beach house in the Central Coast, and we'd go there all the time. And I kept drawing myself away from my family to the showers. So creepy, but it's when I first started to realise that I was attracted to men, right? I was in the toilet and then I see naked men, and I was like, this is weird. Like, I'm really attracted to these guys. And I knew it wasn't right, but I didn't feel like it was right. And then from then everything just got, I'd go home and, you know, I'd look up things on the computer that were not things that normal straight boys would. And I just knew something was not right. And I would, from then I would Google, you know, keywords. I would Google, you know, like I even wore elastic bands, and every time I'd wear, like, had bad thoughts, I would flick myself. I'd do all this shit. I'd pray every single night from the point when I was in year 7 to 18, because I was Catholic, but I was never religious, but like Mum made us go to church every week. And I hated church because I knew from Googling that, you know, they didn't really accept what I was. And yeah, every night I would pray to God that I gave myself a date, a deadline. I was like, 18, please God, you know, when I turn, please make me straight. And I did that up until I turned 18. I turned 18, I was like, this is not going to change. I'm still gay. And then I prepared myself for, you know, a life on my own. I was convinced that there was no way in the world at all that my parents would accept me for being gay, which is terrible because they did. But I could cook, I could clean. My mum would always tell everyone, wow, he's so good, he's got the cleanest room, he can cook. Now I've got the dirtiest room, and I very rarely cook, you know, and yeah, I went to there was a little loophole for me because my sister, she was quite sick when she was about, I don't know, this was when I was about 23. She went through depression, she was seeing a psychologist, and I said to Mum, oh, can I see a psychologist too? And my mum's like, why do you need to see a psychologist? I said, I'm very stressed with uni. And she's like, yeah, okay, yep, go. So they paid for me to see a psychologist. The first session I had with her, it's just weird. It's like she knew. She's like, did you have a girlfriend? I'm like, no. And she's like, why? I'm like, oh, just don't. I'm just very busy with uni. She says, why don't you have a girlfriend? I'm like, why are you asking me these questions? And then the first time in my life, I said out loud, apart from Sally and Napoleon, that I was gay. And I just cried. It was like this thing that was taken off my shoulders, because she's like, is that it? Big deal, you know? And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah, my friends are gay. Like, this psychologist used to be a model in her past life. And she's got a lot of gay friends. And she was like, yeah, that's fine. You know, we'll work through it. You can tell, you was going to start telling people. And she's like, who could you tell? I'm like, no one. No one can know about this. I can never, ever tell anybody. And then after a year of seeing her, I eventually worked up the courage to tell this one. She stupidly thought I was going to tell her I was in love with her.
You're just going to tell me you love me. What am I going to say?
I brought her downstairs. We were at this club or something, a bar.
With it in Surrey Hills, Clookage.
Everyone thought we were hooking up.
Yeah, they were messaging me going, are you and Alfie like hooking up?
I was so nervous.
And I knew something big was happening, so I just thought, I'm not going to answer that. And my friends kept coming down.
Yeah.
I knew he had to tell me something, and he was shaking.
I
So I just had to like send everyone away.
I made you guess. I couldn't
And
say
then
it.
he couldn't even say it. He couldn't verbalise it. He was shaking. He was sweating. He couldn't look me in the eye.
Yeah.
I just had to hold his hands. I said, what's going on? Like, tell me. He goes, you got to guess. You got to guess. And I was just thinking, okay, shit, she's in love with me. Of course. And then obviously, eventually, like my slow little brain ended up kind of working a bit faster, and then it clicked.
She fucking
And I just
shut
went,
the party. She was so
shit! And I said, you're gay. And he's like, and he just couldn't handle it. And he got up and he went to the toilet and he was gone for a bit. And I'm just sitting there with a big smile on my face going,
I'm freaking out.
all things
Then
freaking out.
it's like a domino effect after that though. Like
Yeah.
I told my next
Fantastic.
friend, and then my family came along, and this is a bit R-rated the way I came out to my family. Are we doing coming out stories now too?
Yeah.
Well, I was on a cruise with my whole Italian family, and this couple get onto the ship, and I'm like, those boys are very good looking, but no one in my family knew I was gay at all, like none of them. And throughout the duration of the cruise, you know, I became friends with these guys. I'm still friends with them now. And well, I didn't become friends with them. We became eye friends. Like we'd watch styles. At the gym on the ship, we'd look at each other. Then New Year's Eve came, and when I drink, that's when I become really confident. And I was at the bar, and I just looked, and there was these two guys there, and I'm like, "You boys gay?" And they're like, "Yes." They're like about 31, 32. I'm like, "Yes," but nobody knows on the ship that I'm gay. And they're like, "Oh, that's okay." Then it took me, and then they took me to their family. Like I was sitting with their sisters, and the sisters were like, "Oh, your sisters will love you. You know, we love them still. Like it's okay." I'm like, "No, they won't. You know, more drinks. End up in their room. Their whole family's in their bed, their cabin as well." And then everyone starts leaving. Then I start to leave. They're like, "Where are you going?" And I'm like, "It's in my cabin." And they're like, "You're not going anywhere." So anyway, I ended up there all night. You know, whatever happens. Happened. What happens on the ship stays on the ship. I woke up the next day completely freaked out because I just slept over these guys, and my whole family
I'm
had.
saying if you've got a spit
Oh,
on your
sorry.
lip, you don't want that on
No, I don't. My family had no idea where I was. My cousin had seen me go into this room with these boys to their
Not
cabin
come back out.
and not come back out. My sisters had no idea, but I'd snuck back into the because I was in the same room as my sisters, and they're like, "Where were you?" I'm like, "I was with a girl." And they were like, "Yeah," they were so happy. We went to breakfast. They told the whole table of cousins, "Alfie was with a girl last night." Everyone's cheering, and they're like, "Point her out tonight at the club." I'm like, "Fuck, which girl am I going to pick?" I could not.
I was with.
I could not.
That's a guy, Alfie.
So I couldn't handle it, and that night I was just so stressed out, and I told my sisters, I said, "There's something I'm going to tell you," and I told them, and then we just cried and cried and cried, and they were sad and happy and whatever, and angry that I hadn't told them. And then my sisters, being girls, but anyway, the type of girls that they are, unbeknownst to me, they had told my mum about 10 minutes after I told told them. Then my mum told my dad about a week later. Then a month later, I find out that my whole family knows, which is good because they got time to deal with it. And then now it's all history. My grandparents know, my great grandmother knows, my uncles, aunties, cousins know, the whole country knows. I didn't realise at the time, but my mum was miserable on the cruise for the rest of the cruise, and I had no idea why. She was just very moody. I thought she just had menopause. I don't know. And that's why, because she was trying to deal with these things. My dad hadn't taken it. Or sorry, she was working out how to tell my dad, apparently. And then she told my dad, and my dad didn't take it very well at first. Because Dad's an Italian, he's like Jordan's dad, you know, he's an Italian guy with, you know, blokey business, and he's, you know, got all brothers, and I'm his only son, you know, and I never played sports, I swam, you know.
Like
and,
that?
and yeah, but you know what, my dad, it was probably good in a sense that they knew for a month before I knew that they knew, because it gave them time to, you know, then we had a family. I got a message from my dad one day saying, you know, how, I still remember it, his life's hard, it's tough, but, you know, we're here for you, we love you, and, you know, we love you no matter what. And then I just was like, okay, Dad knows. Oh, sorry, that's not true. I lied. He did say that, but my sisters told me, because I didn't know that they knew, so I went to my sisters and said, look, I might not tell my parents for 2 more years. I don't know, I'm not ready. And they're like, oh, Mum and Dad will be okay. I'm like, how do you know? And they're like, we told them. And I'm like, that freaked me out. Then the next day, I remember I went to Bondi and I laid on the beach all day, and then I got that message from Dad. Then we came home, we had a family meeting, and Dad was like, Dad had thought about it during the day, and he's like, you know what, actually, I've thought about it, and have you ever slept with a girl? And I said, no, Dad, I haven't. And he goes, yeah. Thought about this today? Well, then you're not gay. I'm like, why? And he goes, well, you haven't slept with a girl, you don't know. And I said to Dad, have you ever slept with a guy? And he goes, no. And I said, well, you might be gay, Dad, you should try it. And then the girls were like, yeah, Dad, you know. And then that was like the end of the argue. We didn't argue. My dad's been amazing. Like, it took him a little while. Like, my uncles all found out, my aunties found out. And I remember my auntie Trish, she's like my biggest...
Is that your great,
yeah.
cool loose
She's
auntie?
like, yeah, it's my loose auntie. She's like, I don't give a fuck what you are. She's if anyone fucks with you, you call me and I'll sort them out. And she's like, even my nonna, sorry, I know this is taking too long, but my nonna, when he found out, it was hilarious because he's a fixer like me. I tried to fix it too. And as soon as he found out, he calls me over and he goes, my cousin was there. He's a very traditional Italian man. He said to the women in the house, he goes, okay, you'll go into the lounge room now. Just me and Alfie have a chat. And I'm like, okay. He's like, this gay thing, we got to fix it. I'm like, okay, no. And he goes, how long you know of this gay thing? And I said, oh, forever. He goes, bullshit. He goes, in Italy, I never heard of the gay thing. And he goes, this gay Lebanese Mardi Gras. He goes, that's propaganda. I said, Lebanese Mardi Gras. He goes, yeah, propaganda. And he goes, if your nonna's doctor, my nonna's been seeing a psychiatrist for a long time, she's got depression. He goes, if Dr. whatever his name is can fix this, will you come with me to the doctors? And I said, if he can fix it, I'll come with you, okay? And then he went to the doctors and we never spoke of it again.
Yeah.
Again.
Wow.
And my nonna's, they've met my partners and it's not something we talk about, or we don't celebrate it, because they're all Italians, you know? And I always said I'd have extra tolerance for them because of
Yeah.
their culture. But the fact that, you know, like I've spoken about it on TV, on interviews, and, you know, I've never had any problems since. So, yeah. Anyway, it's my story.